All right, y'all. Listen, let's talk about these couples because the last few episodes have been a lot. All right, we're not gonna do play by play. Just what's really been going on with these couples. I have seen a couple of updates. I saw that Casey's quote unquote ex came out on TikTok and he said a few things. Basically, she's a nice person, and he told her to go on the show because she was never his girlfriend. Blah blah blah. But uh, she didn't even need to talk about that. I saw that on Storytime with Ricky, and she was like, "How embarrassing!" And I'm like, "Yeah, why did you even bring that up? Because now he's out here talking for nothing." So, but anyway, let's go ahead and get into the couples from this last three episodes, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, Megan and Jordan. All right, now I have to say, Megan and Jordan. Jordan is disgusting. Okay, that chicken and Crystal Light and water situation. What the fuck was he doing? Like, there's so many other things with over 50 grams of protein in it that don't hit as disgusting as that was. Like, who in the world ever ground up meat to drink it if they can open their mouth to chew? It was just nasty. Like, and Megan, shout out to her for fucking trying it and being a trooper because it would have never touched my lips. So sorry. That is just thinking about liquid chicken is disgusting right now. Um, but anyway, Megan and Jordan are still figuring each other out, co-parenting, and they're talking about his son. And it looked like they were a little stressed already. They were, when they were talking about, he was like, she wanted to meet the son before, they get married and stuff or whatever. And he's like, all right, he's gonna try to make it happen. But he did kind of make it clear to her, like, look, I don't need my child's mother's approval for everything. So he did tell her that. But I think that this is gonna be interesting. They might actually get married, okay? But she really wanted to meet his son before the wedding, so we see her introduce her mom and sister to Jordan. Now, he met her family on the fourth anniversary of her dad's passing. And y'all remember in the pod she was talking about her dad, and her dad also has the same type of diabetes that his son has, which is, it's like not because of food, obviously. It's like hereditary or whatever. Um, but anyway, if it's not hereditary, it's naturally occurring. It's not done by anything that he did to give itself diabetes. But that's why she knows how to deal with it because her dad had the same thing. But anyway, her sister, that was already something that she was looking at like as like a sign, right? Like, oh, maybe he's the one. But her sister, and I thought this was weird, y'all. Her sister said she had a dream, and their dad was there saying that Jordan's son is just like him. So of course Megan takes that as a sign that this relationship is meant to be. But that, if that really happened, that is wild. Okay, like, but it just got weird at that point for me. Like, okay, but then there's Jordan. All right, like I said, him blending this fucking frozen chicken breast with water for protein is just some white boy shit to do. All right, I said it, sir. We have protein shakes now. There's no need to do this. No one asked for. Ugh. Okay. And what was the crystal light for? I just didn't understand that. But anyway, so further into the episodes, we see them look at a house, at a $2 million house, right? And so Jordan admitted that he feels insecure and he feels some type of way about not being able to like provide, right? Because he's not bringing anything to the table. So obviously he's not bringing any money to the table. And then they show Megan offering to sell her LA house, saying that she will get 1.5 million. They can put that all into the house, and then they both go in together on a $500,000 loan, which I don't think that is smart. Okay, first of all, yeah, okay, that's not smart. All right, I'm just gonna leave it there. We'll see what happens. But she offered to sell her LA house and split the rest of the loan. But he clearly wants to be the provider. But it's that pride versus partnership moment that they're having, right? But it's no way that he's gonna be. I don't know. I just feel like she needs to come to reality. Okay, if he has not lived in a house that large, he is not ready for all that comes with the house at large. So I feel like they need to crawl before they walk. But if she want to be Big Willie, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Um, and then we got Allie and Anton. Like, I really don't believe this couple either. Um, but Allie, she ends up saying that she's in school, and she says she has no, plans of cleaning. It's not going to be a priority for her, and she's going to be focused on school. And Anton's like, okay, I got it. Then they start talking about bank accounts, and he wants a joint bank account, and she wants a joint bank account and a separate bank account. Talking about she didn't want him to see how much she spends on her Botox and stuff. But they're already not on the same page about money, and honestly, she's not planning on doing anything. Like, how do you just not clean up behind yourself even a little bit? I don't understand that. Like, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. He likes it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? But then they show her later on talking about how he comes home from his night shift and cracks 2 beers after his night shift. Now, obviously, his night shift will end in the morning, so for him, it's after work. But she's like, she's not cool with him coming home drinking 2 beers every day in the morning. So, I mean, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? He could be doing worse things, but I feel like she needs to talk to him about that. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. They also had dinner with one of his friends, and she felt some type of way about that too, because the friend had a girlfriend with him. I don't know. I don't think they were married, because she said they had been dealing with each other for like a few months. 4 months, I think it was. But the friend went to the bathroom with her, and they end up in a conversation on how much the guys were partying when they were single. And it comes out that to her that Anton was telling her that it was the friend that was, partying like that, but the friend's girl was like, no, it's not like that. They definitely were doing it together. And then Allie goes back to the table, and she brings it up at the table, but then says, oh, we can't talk about it here. But why would you even mention it right there? Like, that was just dumb. Like, we got to talk, but we can't talk right now. The tension was just brewing right there. Okay, so that was them too. Like I said, I don't believe them. They probably won't get married. Let's just do that. Yeah. Okay. So I think that Megan and Jordan will probably get married, but I just hope that they make some good financial decisions. But then I think Ali and Anton are not going to get married. All right. So next, you know what? I should talk about Kalybriah and Edmund at the end, because that is. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do it right now, because I was just like, okay. Keeping in mind, we don't see all the footage, right? And we don't know how Calabria's, irritation levels have been pressed up to this point, all right? This is the messiest match by far. I really still am mad that they actually cast this dude, because, like everybody's saying, like somebody who talks about openly eating boogers and who kisses the floor on purpose, you know what I'm saying? Like that right there is a little bit of enough. But then, you can just clearly see how he interacts with some of the other people that he's not, you know, up to par like the other ones, as far as having a conversation and being able to regulate his emotions and reactions. Okay. He can't control his reactions to some stuff, and that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I blame them, and like I said, we're only seeing what they approved to be aired. What other kind of footage could they have of the shit that this dude was doing if we're seeing the stuff that we see? And that's all I'm saying. But these two, woo, okay, woo, 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 woo. Anyway, I had to do it, but Edmund's still the guy who, like I said, probably says that he eats his own boogers. I mean, eating anybody else, eating boogers, period. He eats boogers and he kissed the floor. I cannot let that go. He might be a nice guy, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he has been through a lot, and he probably does mean well, and I feel like they are exploiting him by putting him on here, but at the same time, he has enough mental capacity to sign up for the show. He had enough mental capacity to be a realtor, and I looked at his Instagram, and he's not stupid, so he had to know, so I can't even say that. So anyway, he's been through a lot. He grew up in foster care, but it's something missing socially. All right. He's just not equipped for this environment. And I don't know how this is going to end up. Like, I can't even foresee an interview with him. Like, why? Nobody, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I could just see it being not a good not a good idea. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is my first thought. But Calabria admitted that she forgot she applied for the show and tried to ignore looks and voices in the pods. And, after that one argument, she was done, so she slept on the side of the balcony. Now, I feel like that's a lot. What happened with that? You know what I'm saying? So we'll know how traumatized she has been in this situation, even though she's not all the way in the right either for this what happened, what I'm getting ready to talk about from the group hangout. But she met his mom, and that was an emotional meeting. And his mom, she immediately called Calabria her daughter-in-law, and she was ready to, give her some special waist beads from Ghana. It was a sweet moment, but it's a lot that wasn't said. Okay, it's a lot that wasn't said. She mentioned at one point that all her other daughter-in-laws rat on her to her son or something like that, her sons. And I'm like, so what is it that you're doing? Like, what are they going back to say? What are you doing? So, it was an emotional thing or whatever, but let's get to the group hangout where the couples now get to meet up, and the other people from the pods, the other singles, get to come through, and everybody gets to see who is who. All right. So, Patrick got to see Anna. Megan got to see Mike. She talked to Mike. It was interesting. Okay. But Annie at some point in the night called Nick perfect, and Edmund made this I don't even want to say it was a slick comment, because he's just him, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, oh, that's really nice. It must be nice to hear that, you know what I'm saying? And when he said it, Calabria picked up on it. She like, wait, what you talking about? What you say? And why would you say that? And she told him to admire but not compare. All right. So then they show them going back and forth, and to me, I feel like she be obviously eating him up in the arguments that they be having off camera. And she just had this calm demeanor about how she was saying the stuff to him. She was she was like, he ends up saying to her that he doesn't hear positive things from her, and then she kind of snapped, and she was like, oh, so you thought this was a good idea to bring that shit up here? But she was so calm and smooth with it, but it did end up spiraling, and she ended up calling him weird. And she ended up going to the bathroom and crying, so she clearly felt some kind of way about it. And then when she comes out, obviously she don't want to talk to him or whatever. But if this was them in public, I don't want to imagine what their private arguments are like, because like I said, she is probably running circles around that man. Okay. I don't know. Listen, if you cannot see that something ain't right, and you still decide to be like, you're going to go with this person, I'm looking at you now. I'm questioning both of their, what did I say earlier? Not even emotional stability, but just your judgment. I don't know. I don't know. Like, why was she, I don't know. But, anyway, talking about Nick and Annie, she tried to say Nick was perfect, but it's something weird about them as well. I don't feel like they're on the same page. Nick is, I don't know, Nick and Annie seem like they cool on the surface, but it's something going on there. You know what I'm saying? Because she keeps talking about she likes him more than he likes her, and he keeps talking about he's trying to get on the same page as her. She told him she wants him, but she doesn't need him. They get into this whole thing. And she, that's when she told him that she felt more invested than he was, but it was just weird. She met his parents, and they like her, and they say they're next sensitive, which we already know that, but they're not really, I don't feel like they aligned on their future or whatever. She wants to rent an apartment in the city first and go from there. He wants to keep his mountain house, and eventually, they can have both. But they're thinking about the future in two different ways. And I don't know. I told y'all we got to keep our eye on Nick, because I don't know about Nick. All right. We got Joe and Madison. Okay. Joe and Madison are a roller coaster, because Joe, with his incoherent drinking all night, not knowing what's going on the next day, had her so frustrated that she left and went to stay somewhere else. All right, even after all that, they got back. They made up, and she said she loves him and she wants things to work. So they're just trying to communicate better and move forward. All right. Now, I don't know. I don't think they're going to get married because I don't really think he really, really is into her like that. And it seems like she's committed to making it work because she keeps, trying or whatever. And he's trying to. I'm not saying that he's not, but I just don't think that they'll end up getting married. So then we got Patrick and Anna. Okay, so the group meets up, and the pod squad, the other people, the singles and stuff that was in the pods, they come and people get to put the faces with the voices and names and stuff, right? So um Patrick ends up coming to the get together, and he's telling about the Casey situation and how he wanted the ring back, which everybody's now like, wait, did he buy the ring or did Netflix buy the ring? Because, like, if Netflix bought the ring, why would you be asking for it back? Um, but, it is what it is. Patrick and Casey's situation was straight up awkward to me because I was like, why is she crying and jumping all over him? And if she don't like him, like, this is awkward. But he said he never talked to her again after that, or never seen her again after that. Um, but so he's there telling everybody at the get together, okay, that she that she was trying to get a ring back or whatever, and she straight up said no. But it was wild because he was hurt because she ended stuff like it was just a few hours after the reveal when she ended stuff. So that, he already felt insecure about how he looked, and so that kind of, probably hurt his little feelings or whatever. But then Patrick goes and talks to Anna. Okay, now I will admit they look like they could have been a cute couple, but it's just too much insecurity there on both parts. Okay, because he apologizes to Anna. Um, well, let's back up. Uh, Anna apologizes to him for leaving without talking to him, right? And she said she should have done that. But I mean, if you think about it realistically, they weren't there that long. They don't That's a person that you really don't even know like that. If you think about it in that sense, I mean, he really wasn't obligated to um she wasn't obligated to do anything. But I don't know. He told her though that even if he told her though that if she would have been there at the end, he would have chosen her. And Anna was like, "Oh heck no, you proposed to somebody else though. Like if it was me, then it should have been me. Like I guess she wanted him to just leave or whatever. I don't know, but Blake did. So we'll see what happens if anything with that. But I just felt like that was, she still felt like some kind of way about it or whatever. She was like, you still proposed to another woman though. Period. He ended up getting emotional and teared up, which was also a little bit weird. I was just like, oh man, yeah, no, nobody needs to be in a relationship here, okay? And then Megan got to see Mike and talk to Mike, and they had a little unfinished business in the conversation. Mike is just a dick, okay? This is what I've come to the conclusion of. All right, um, Mike pulls her to the side and tells her they start talking to everything, and they get into a conversation about the fact that he actually picked out a ring for her back in the pause. Now we don't know if that's true, but why would you even say that? You know what I'm saying? He even asked her if she was happy. And he said he was tempted to slide into her DMs, and she said, "I appreciate you for not doing that." Okay, like why are we saying this now? It's giving you're trying to find some chinks in the armor, and Megan did not go for it. I'm so glad she did. She handled it calmly, but you could tell it threw her off a little bit. But listen, don't be no. You made your choice. Let's go ahead and deal with it. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, these episodes were not about love stories. All right, they're about the reality pretty much setting in on these couples. I think we've got one couple, you know what I'm saying? Because even though he's making chicken smoothies, Jordan is winning in the group when it comes to the relationship because everybody's on shaky ground. All right, um, most of these couples look like they're trying to force it to me, but listen, who am I? I'm just a viewer, okay? And that's what we're doing. We're just talking about what we're seeing on TV, okay? Some of them might push through, but I only think one of them gonna push through, Megan and Jordan, and I honestly think that's the only one. But we shall see, because they are not ready for marriage, and this is how they're acting right now. Like, I cannot wait for the reunion, okay? Because I just can't wait for the reunion. So anyway, y'all get down in the comments below. Let me know what y'all thinking of this season so far. Who do y'all think is gonna go all the way to the altar and get married? Because I'm only seeing Megan and Jordan. But that is it for this video. I'll see y'all once the new episodes drop this week, and we will talk about it then. All right, I'm your girl Demita. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.